Some folks wear their hats way off to the side with their pants down low and a gun tucked inside. Take their beer by the 40 and their chicken deep fried. I think we all know who we're talking about.
Who are we talking about?
The only dark
I like is when you turn off the lights.
The only hood I love
is pointy and white.
Can't trust you if I can't see your face
At night. I think we all know who we're talking about.
Hegemony is still here. Sports are canceled. And will racial conflicts ever be eradicated when the old bigots die?
And what are two unicorns in a grand blizzard? I know what you're thinking. We're gonna find out today on the show.
First of all, ain't nobody talking while I'm talking, so shut the f*** up.
Yo, it's the Shut Up Color Podcast, always informed, never influenced. I'm your host, Ashton Alexander.
And I'm your boy, Micah J.
Micah J, what's going on, Captain?
Nothing much, man. How are you feeling today?
That's a good show. It's gonna be a good show. We got a lot of stuff to unpack. We got why is the KKK still here? Racism in sports? And where the hell is racism going?
Where is it going?
But before we do all of that, any of that, we gotta get Micah J's infamous word of the day.
You know,
Diabolical.
Diabolical. Listen, the word of the day is diabolical.
Diabolical.
Okay, it's an adjective for you who don't know.
That's an action word.
An action descriptive word.
Mm-hmm.
And it is used to describe a characteristic of the devil.
Diabolical.
Evil. Okay. So listen, man. What's up, man? What's been up with you though?
Nah, man. Over here surviving quarantine day 97. It's crazy out here in these streets. But yeah, nothing too crazy. Work as usual, grocery shopping in long ass lines, and trying to stay 6 feet away, whatever that means. But yeah. What about yourself, my guy?
Trying to stay safe, man. Washing my hands. Social distancing. A lot of social media streaming. I mean, just watching. Like, I think I went from 4 hours to 8 hours.
Damn.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of damn time, boy.
My schedule all messed up.
But it makes sense though. I mean, if you're gonna be in the house, what else you gonna do if you're not working on the Shut Up and Color Podcast, always informed, never influence. If you're not working on that, it makes sense to be streaming something.
Something, man. Just a lot of Netflix.
Since we here,
yeah, man. Hey,
Media Digest, what's up?
Media Digest.
Since we talking about what we've been streaming,
tell me what you've been watching, man. What's up?
So recently, in the last week, I have been watching a hellacious amount of food reviews from 3 particular YouTubers. I think it's Mark Weens, the Food Ranger, and Best Food Review, dude named Sonny. They just travel the world, all over the world, and they try different cultures' foods and give you a glimpse into their world. I guess through their mind is, if you know the culture, if you know the people's food, you know their culture, and it's been super interesting. I'm just recently watching one on what is it, Sonny from Best Food Review. He's in Swahili right now doing a food review with the tribes, and I think it's super interesting. That's what I'm watching right now. That's what I've been streaming and binge watching. What about yourself?
Listen, well, that sounds amazing. Listen, I love food, and for me, I've been watching a lot of different stuff, man. But for me, my Media Digest specifically is actually going to be something that I read this week.
Okay.
And it's actually an article I read, and it was written by Jack Hamilton and published on slate.com. It's an older article. It was published in 2016, but this article, its title is How Rock and Roll Became White, right?
Okay.
So this article,
heavy.
It was heavy, bro. It was super informative, and this article basically encompassed about how the Rolling Stones, the band, how their love of black music helped them lead the way to rock segregated music,
Right.
right? Like rock music originally like was super inspired by like black R&B music, like,
Okay.
but over time, white artists were inspired by black people, black music, and people wanted to manipulate the story, the narrative. They wanted to start to whiten that idea. And so because of that, this article it's a little lengthy article, but it really talked on a lot of how the Rolling Stones were inspired by black music, how they took pride in it, how they often vocalized how much they enjoyed black culture and black music,
As they should.
and basically after like it was a free concert in Altamont Speedway, which was a free concert in like 1969.
Right.
Basically it was this free concert, and these the Hells Angels, right? They had like violently stabbed this
The infamous motorcycle gang.
yes.
Yeah.
They-
the one percenters. The Hells
Yes,
Angels.
the 1%ers. They had violently stabbed like this black teenager that was there, and it was supposed to be like, you know, unifying or whatever. And that kind of went like viral, but like that event, that violence kind of got associated with the Rolling Stones, even though they were like 50 miles away from that. So that kind of started this like
Yeah.
association with the Rolling Stones and like violence, and then after that it just became this long like journey of just manipulation of history.
Okay.
So yeah, it was deep.
I think we had a conversation earlier, and I mean, was it yesterday? And you were telling me about the "You Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog" by
Yeah.
Elvis Presley.
Elvis stole a lot of stuff, man.
Yeah, and then I go and you play the original for me. I'm like, what the hell? This black lady singing this song like word for word, and Elvis has just copied every line. I would have never known if you never showed me that to me that was like someone else's song.
Every line, bro. Yeah, and that article touches on it, man. They talk about Chuck Berry, Jimi Hendrix, Mary Clayton, all these people that was like way before our time. But listen, I think everybody should go back, do a little history, learn a little something, you know.
You just rolling it out there for them. You started the engine.
Starting the engine.
Drive if you want.
Right. Listen, how black people hate rock music, but we invented it.
Yeah, that's
started
some
it.
crazy. Or
You know?
even country music.
Country music. Listen, if you ain't know before, the banjo was invented in Africa. Okay.
Yeah, well, you know they don't know that, man. I mean, you think banjo, you think hillbilly, overalls, no shoes, sitting on a can, strumming away. So
And
that's the media's depiction of it. So that's what we know. You know what you know.
You know what you know. And I think that's why the article that I read this week was really like what I digested the most this week, because it wasn't the fact that like all the things that happened. The part that really stood out to me was how like information can be manipulated over time. Like,
Right.
remember, like even with me consuming 8 hours of media, you have to protect yourself. You have to be aware. You have to be smart of what you consume and who's
Right.
relaying the information. You have to ask yourself like, who's writing this, who's putting it out, and what is their intentions.
Right. Because your subconscious picks up on everything, even if you're not picking up on it. Like you see those same little messages over and over again in your head. They just become reality over time. So that banjo has probably become synonymous in my mind as this instrument played by, you know, historically white people, right? That's what my brain would tell me, because that's what the media has always showed me. And no one has ever said that to me, but that's what the media has suggested.
Yeah.
So now, you know, when I see it, that's what I think. And then to just be informed that that's not the case and the actual origins is totally like eye-opening, and, you know, get you thinking, get you wondering what else is out there in the world, which, I mean, that's a whole other conversation. I definitely know there's thousands of things we could talk about on that side, but
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, media is the gateway to the mind, man.
Yeah.
But on that note, listen, man, let's talk about the KKK.
Not the KKK.
Listen.
Diabolical.
Oh my God.
Oh, yes. Characteristics of the devil. Huh?
Damn, the old 1950 or 1975 boys.
Listen.
The David Dukes.
David Dukes.
Yeah. The KKK. they're here. They've been here. They're obviously not trying to go nowhere.
Yeah, they actually. I was reading that the KKK, right? They're actually trying to rebrand right now.
Yeah, they definitely. Well, so I watched the documentary. You read an article. The documentary I was watching, they were saying how this gentleman by the name of Joseph, he was discussing how the KKK is not necessarily a white hate group, and he wanted to change the narrative that we are not a white hate group. We are in fact a band of brothers who wants to get back to the Americas of the old days. He definitely brought up the "Make America Great Again" slogan, which I think is an homage to how ridiculous this whole campaign of Donald Trump has been so far, that he has incited this idea that this is a real thing. Like there's an America to get back to in which it was better than it is right now. And I would even argue to the listeners at home, I mean, just to stop, I mean, white, black, blue, green, Asian, Native American, Indian, anything, it doesn't matter. If you lived in America and you have a knowledge of American history, I would like for you to tell me, because I'm just thinking about the slogan now, tell me a time frame before now where America was considered great. And what time was that? And I guarantee you there were people that have been oppressed or held down, just mistreated. So, I mean, I don't know what time frame that the KKK or Donald Trump is talking about. And I would like to be very clear. I'm not saying that they go hand in hand, the KKK and Donald Trump, by no means. I'm just saying they're using his slogan and he has not like condemned them. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think that slogan is super subjective. Like, great for who, you know?
Yeah,
I mean, it may have been great for some people, but not all people.
No.
I mean, America encompasses all its citizens.
I mean,
the American people.
if you listen to the media, it's black and white. That's America, and that's not the case. So, like you said, it's very subjective. For who was America great, you know, years ago? And they probably can't even give you a time frame in which it was great. Like, you know, it'd be like some kid who's 27 years old saying, "Hey, we gotta make America great again." I'm like, since you've been alive, this is like been the best that has ever been. You know, like we can't get much better than what we have gotten right here, right now. I mean, if you talk about the past, I mean, shit. Like we got Teslas, we got iPhone 11. Like what are you saying? Like, I mean, and I'm not saying those things make America great. I'm saying we have vast influence in the world at this point. We have like modern medicine that has improved greatly. Life expectancy has shot up. I mean, if you're talking about 1950 is a great time period, like shit,
infant mortality has lowered.
Like, come on, man. Poverty, unemployment is at an all-time low.
Or was
at an all-time low. But still, like we're saying, like 3% of the population is unemployed, which is crazy. That is a high number to people. Like 3% of 300 million people are unemployed. Like, I mean, the stock market before the coronavirus was
booming. Business was booming.
Shouts out AB. But business was booming. Yeah, I mean, America has never been in a better place, I think, than it is right now. And that's how I think it should be, though. Like, I mean, if we're saying that it was better before, like, we should be discussing the time frame in which it was better and how can we get back to that. But to get back to that, we have to oppress so many people, and I don't think that's even in the cards for us right now. There's too many minorities in this country to even try and take a step back that way. I mean, even speaking with the KKK. So with their rebranding, not to get off track, but with their rebranding, they're saying that they're not against people of color or different ethnic groups. They just think that every ethnic group should go back to their point of origin, which is super ironic.
I mean, yeah, I would even say that their attempt is they're really trying to make a kinder, gentler face on the Klan. You know, the Invisible Empire. Like they're really just courting media attention and attempting to portray itself as this new modern white civil rights organization. But I would say, just as you spoke about, you know, the slogan, "Make America Great Again," it really under it all, right? Beneath it all, there lurks the same bigotry, rhetoric,
Diabolical.
the same diabolical
Yeah.
aura that was there prior to it. I think like we live in a society of media now where just kind of like my media digest of today is about cultivating this narrative, right? Like
Right.
what you can put on the books or what you can like put out there for people to read, and media, what those things you can manipulate and you can control. So
Right.
the fact that they're like doing that, I mean, from a business perspective, kudos to them.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
to pivot into like
To
not
recognize the problem and change.
yeah. Or even I don't even know if they're recognizing the problem, but recognizing that times are changing, so you have to change with the times. They got their website up now, you
Right.
know. They got,
I bet it's probably even easier to get members in the social media age. I mean,
exposure. is
you
a
could just
thing.
online. You can get some people to sign up with their, subscribe here to more hatred. Probably send you some hate mail and stuff that whatever. But I'm pretty sure in today's society, the way that we are, I mean, you get so many media thugs. Those people behind the keyboards who really want to say how they feel but can't say it in public because they don't want to go to Josh at work and tell him that I hate you, but they had to do it from a secret organization, behind the curtain, the invisible empire, as you call it.
Listen, like here, this is I pulled this from the Knight's Party website. Okay, here goes an example of some of the bigoted rhetoric. Non-whites who reside in America should be expected to conduct themselves according to Christian principles and must recognize that race mixing is definitely wrong and out of the question. Okay, it will be a privilege to live under the authority of the compassionate white Christian government.
You see it? You see it? That right there? Like, that is, they didn't say that they hate you. They didn't say that they want to kill you or eradicate you. I thought you were about to say eradication, but yeah, like that is, and for everybody who's listening though, I would like you to say you just need to go ahead and follow, subscribe, or whatever you need to do, because we doing some crazy ass research out here. Our damn internet browser is about to get shut down. The FBI is probably wondering who the hell these damn two people are trying to log into the KKK's website. Like,
first it was research last week, and now it's
what is going
KKK?
on? What is going on? But the site didn't come up though, did it? The main site.
No, I think they know that our IP address is black.
Yeah, because they were not letting me through. It would get halfway loaded and just stop.
Yeah,
I'm like, damn. Or Big Brother is like trying to shut down those guys,
colluding with whatever is going on right now.
But yeah, so like you said, the rebranding, moving forward. They just. I
would argue and say this is the most diabolical
Diabolical.
thing that people could do. Like, it's a saying that's like the worst thing Satan ever did was convince the world that he didn't exist.
Well,
Like, that's like, think about that.
Yeah.
Like, that's controlling the narrative, controlling what people think is forcing people to believe that there is no problem when there is the like smartest but like worst thing you could ever do from like their perspective, right?
But then you have like, with attention spans shortening, I get some evidence on that, or some science on that. But for conversational purposes, attention span shortening, just the way that the world is with the millennials and the youth, I don't see them like not. I don't see them seeing it though. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's something that's so ingrained in the society and the people that they don't even have, at this point, like you said, they don't even have to like showcase like real hatred. They don't have to burn crosses anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, what's old buddy you were talking about not too long ago with the bridges?
Robert Moses.
Robert Moses. Like, you don't have to burn crosses. You can just, Robert Moses built bridges or structures in New York City where buses couldn't go under it. So the inner city people, the buses couldn't go under those bridges, so they had to stay in the inner city. So I don't have to be overtly outright crazy ass racist and be like, I fucking hate niggas. You know, I don't have to say that. I can just systematically oppress you by keeping you confined to your area, and I'll have this more plush, more open spaced area for people who are less melanin inclined.
Well, listen, man. Hey, now, listen. I think that's. You about to get me going now. Hold on.
Let them have it.
Listen, that's what racism is. Like, I know you might be definitely familiar with like people, like the whole argument or discussion about like black people are racist or black people can't be racist, and I think that what you just described is the thing. Like to have the power, like to be racist, you have to have power.
That's the key. You have that power,
right? Like you have to have power that transcends masses of people,
right?
To be able to control and like oppress them, to be able to cut off what they have rights to or decide how they gonna live their life. That's where the racism is at.
Right. That's where the real power, even the Fair Housing Act 1965 or 1964 or whatever like that, where they were giving out all these home loans to individuals who had good credit and could prove that they had a well-paying job and stuff like that. But what do you think those home loans went to? Right, the home loans went to Caucasian Americans that had all those had all that paperwork. So they would go get these home loans, buy all these homes, put it down, plop it down on all this property, and then that's how you start something that I would like to call generational wealth. So now you got,
bro, even before that. Listen, let's take it back to after slaves were freed, and we actually did get 40 acres of land and a mule.
Yeah.
You know?
And a donkey.
And we was chilling, right?
Yeah.
Like we actually got that. And then, you know what happened? These homesteaders, you know, they came moseying on along, you know. When cities were first emerging, they were getting built. They would build a city hall in a few days. And then what was your land? We would come and we would knock down our stakes. We'd put it in the ground. We'd say, hey, this is my land. You say, what? This is my land. They say, nope, I have a city deed right here that says I own this land.
And how do you refute that? How do you refute that as a at this point uneducated freed slave who just has land? Like, you can't argue in court. You can't refute what they're saying, because the bodies of power at work are not going to recognize you because they choose not to, because they know what they're doing. So it's not like they're going to be like, oh yeah, you're right. That is that slave, that free slave, that is his land. You can't have that, Joe. No. We don't want you here anyway, which is a whole nother topic, because now we have to talk about the land. We would have to talk, I mean, we'll get into it later in the show, but we'll talk about the land that was taken from the original individuals who habitated and were on this landmass before anybody got here besides them. Then they were knocked off. They were pushed aside. Then you got slaves that were here by, you know, colonialism and reasons that obvious that we have all discussed in class or just in regular conversation. But then we have that, and then when they are freed, they are given land that doesn't necessarily belong to them, and then it's being taken by somebody who doesn't belong to them, and now they have built homes and cities and village, and they built all this shit on it, and it don't belong to nobody. But like, if we went back, I'm talking about like we had a time machine and go back in time, I bet like none of this shit belongs to anybody. This is all like monopoly money at this point. It's just,
that's all it is.
I believe, I mean, we all just agreeing that damn Manhattan belongs to whoever. Like,
right.
Like, this shit's not real. The shit, it just, because you didn't give the right away to the people who own this land to come in here and to take anything. Like, what the hell? Oh, you pay rent here? That shit my shit now.
Basically, I'm the repo man.
Yeah, boy, that shit sound almost
Diabolical.
Oh shit,
Diabolical.
That shit come out of nowhere.
Listen, but yeah, man. But listen, the KKK, bruh. Listen, the costumes.
The goddamn costumes.
Or wait, are they costumes or are they uniforms?
I mean, technically, I feel like a uniform is, you know, used to distinguish people amongst crowds of of groups to showcase the organization that in which they work for or are affiliated with. That is the definition of a uniform. So, I mean, I guess it is a uniform. However, since they some goofy motherfuckers, I'm going to call it a costume. And they damn wizards.
Listen, you got Grand Dragons.
Grand Dragon, what is this? Lord of the Rings shit. Grand Dragon, wizards.
Wizards.
This shit is unnecessary. I like the whole cape with the robes and the eyes cut out and that shit is just fucking a bit much.
It's I don't even listen. I think it's one of the funniest things ever, to be honest. Like I'm not gonna lie. I was like, they got when I found out they had red ones and purple ones and black ones.
Yeah. You get a robe.
Hey, low key, I checked on Amazon to see if they had some KKK suits, but not so like I could like wear. I don't know.
Comic-Con 2021. we going up in there is
I always think
Red
about that
Dragons
Harold
and Wizards.
Harold and Kumar.
Oh yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's it's sad because at the end of the day, like the history, like people have like died and been brutally killed for the KKK, but that's something that goes with our low ball capitalistic society.
Yeah, it's what it is, man. I mean, and that sounds horrible. It is what it is, but like that's what it is right now. But I would say, how about this? To those individuals say, "Make America Great Again." 1975 was good for who? Like, it might have been good for some dragons out there, a couple of wizards and the flock of the Klansmen. You know what I'm saying? But for majority of the population, I'm gonna go ahead and say that I don't think it was as fair all around. And that's not even to say that like racism is a black white thing, because there's racism that resides in different fashions, in different forms, even if
everywhere, bro.
even if we shift gears and we move over to sports, like just looking at sports as a whole, like that whole dynamic can be seen as race from the
sports,
from the teams to the players to the individuals that come to the games. Like,
yeah, man, like I'm glad you brought that up. Like sports, let's talk about sports. Like
sports are canceled.
Sports are canceled, okay? But racism is still here, and when sports was still alive, there is still racism that exists amongst it. Like, so there's really 3 types of racism. Like, you got logo behaviors, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got fan behaviors, and then you got like just racial insults that just come along, and
right.
then you got like, well, I said 3, but I'm gonna add another one. You got propaganda by extremists, which that's still 3 because that kind of ties in with the logo behavior,
right.
and racial insults. But man, tell us a little bit about the logo behaviors.
Well, I mean, okay, so I mean, we just left the Native Americans in the last conversation. I mean, well, the last topic, and we're here talking about sports right now. So I mean, just to like address the unnecessary, rude, overt, ridiculous, careless naming of these teams. Like, I got a couple names here. I'm gonna show them out to you. You tell me what you think about them, and then we'll talk about them. So first, we got the Seattle Seahawks. Now, I know everyone's like, well, the Seahawks, I love the Seahawks. Russell Wilson, it's my man. Have you ever looked at the logo? It is like this iconic, well, not iconic, it's like this historical way that the original people of the Americas, the Aborigines of this land, would have made or drawn or painted a Seahawk. That's where they got the logo idea from, was from the tribes.
Seahawk,
The
Seahawk. The bird, right?
The bird. They got that logo idea from a tribe that would reside in Seattle. You got the St. John Red Storms. Now, a storm can be racist, but their mascot is Chief Blackjack.
Not Chief Blackjack.
Now he's just a white kid who has painted his face red and is running around with a Native American headdress on. Okay. Iowa Hawkeyes, named after a tribe that's in Iowa. The Golden State Warriors. Now they have changed their logo since the news has come out that Native Americans are not a fan of their logo rhetoric.
Right.
And, they got there's Golden Gate Bridge now, but it used to be a spear with the little feathers on it and shit.
Oh.
Chicago Blackhawks. That's a straight up just Native American face, just sideways.
Yeah.
Just sideways. San Diego Aztecs. Like, that's what we gonna do?
Not the Aztec people.
The San Diego State Aztecs. Okay. Kansas City Chiefs. Shout out to Patrick Mahomes, but boy, you gotta fix that. I mean, you gotta fix that, boy. The Chiefs, really?
The Chiefs.
This one right here that I'm gonna say next, I find to be the most ridiculous because it is a term that has been like sanctioned by the government as a racial term to describe a group of people.
Okay.
Which is redskin. So now the government and the bodies the powers that be have determined that this word to be a racial slur, and can incite like fear and or hatred amongst people, and they are still allowing the Redskins to be considered or be called the Redskins. In their logo, once again, is a Native American of red skin, and our hometown favorite.
Cleveland.
The Cleveland Indians. Like, damn, just go the Cleveland Indians. And
Chief Wahoo.
Chief Wahoo. Now, if I showed you a picture of a like those black cartoons back in the day, blackface cartoons with
big
the
nostrils,
big red lips,
that's your boy. That's your boy, Chief Wahoo.
That's Chief Wahoo, man. Chief Wahoo looks just like that, And just looking at reading some stuff on that, doing a little research, and watching a couple of videos and some fan reactions to them asking if they could change the name and what would they feel about that. They were like, people are crazy. Like, Chief Wahoo, that's not a racist name. Native Americans are a sense of pride. I'm pretty sure the Native Americans gave us the right to use this thing. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's no Chief Wahoo.
I don't know. Wahoo don't sound that
don't sound Wahoo? Yahoo? Wahoo? No, I don't know. And if I am, I'm sorry for being ignorant, and I will take my statement back if there is a Chief Wahoo out there, and I'm having to do some further research, but at this point in time, I do not see it being a Chief Wahoo that was, rojo, But yeah, what do you think about that, man?
I think some people would say, oh, people just being insensitive. Some people like, it's not that big of a deal. I would say that the indigenous people of this landmass that we now call North America definitely are the most underrepresented
100%.
minority group that
1,000%
that experiences the most blatant racial and like discrimination and just slurs and disrespect in general.
Even within doing the research, when I was looking back, we say slavery, and slavery was bad, and it was a horrible thing that took place in America. But slavery has going around. It's been going on since people have been here. Slavery has been a thing, and I don't want to take it as this black white thing, because that's not the motive behind the show or what we're trying to do or what we're trying to bring to the viewership here. But I will say that what happened to the Native Americans, I find to be worse than what happened to the slaves. And people are like, what?
But what about the Holocaust? That was bad, bro.
The Holocaust?
Yeah.
The Holocaust ain't got shit on what happened to these Native Americans. The Holocaust, there are people who have survived the Holocaust and can talk about it. There are books that take place around times in the Holocaust. There's people who will tell you about the Holocaust, and by no means am I trying to be not sympathetic or empathetic to what happened in the Holocaust. It was a horrible thing. But how many people died during the Holocaust?
Let me think. I would say 1 million, maybe.
1 million. So we'll say around 2 million people died during the Holocaust, which a lot of people. I mean, that's a crazy amount of people. Now, how many people do you think died during the 500-year war? That the
500?
That's what the Native Americans call the 500-year war. They said that they've been fighting for their place in America for 500 years. So from colonialism to the Spanish conquest, all that till now, how many Native Americans do you think have been?
500 years is a long time.
Goddamn long time.
Bro, slavery was only what, 200, 300 years?
Yeah, well, we'll say 400 years if you give or take. I mean, because they still say people were enslaved up until like 19 something, but yeah, 1940s, 1950s.
At least in America, people.
Yeah.
I know people still enslaved.
Yeah, people still enslaved. It's called prison, but that's a whole other story.
Prison is slaves in Africa.
Yeah.
Sex slaves.
How many Native Americans do you think died?
Oosh, I don't know.
All right, so the
500 years.
500 years.
Tell me.
The evidence is out. Okay. 95 million
Oh my goodness.
Native Americans, or upwards to 114 million Native Americans.
100 million people.
100 million people wiped out,
Annihilated.
gone.
That is diabolical.
Diabolical.
That is
That
diabolical.
shit sounded ridiculous when I saw that number. I was like, what? I thought like maybe millions, but then you start thinking about it. Like, these people were here on this whole like America's big, right? So they were here all around. They were here all around. 95 million?
That's a lot, bro.
Like, and we don't even talk about, like, the only thing I know about Native Americans from school was damn Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And putting fish in the ground to make it more fertile. That's it.
And that's 4 pages
So,
worth
come
of,
on, man.
of
That's
history.
it. Yeah.
That's first day.
That's making the little take a hand, draw your handprint and
Make a turkey.
make a turkey. You know what I'm saying?
Gobble gobble.
You know, Pocahontas. You know, that's it.
That's it.
That's
bro.
it. We don't give them. We don't give
Sacagawea.
Sacagawea. We don't give her nothing. They don't get anything. I'm like Christopher Columbus, when he landed here, gave the order to kill himself at least 500,000 Native Americans. Gave the order. Kill him. I'm saying, when he got off the boat, it probably sounded like this. Kill them all.
What? Hey, listen, he sounds like a villain.
Yo, he sounds
Diabolical.
like, what the hell? Like, I mean, he landed here, got off, made a couple trades, looking for a little gold, found out that they had some corn, not the gold he was looking for, killed them. Gave them blankets with smallpox. Damn. I mean, anything, influenza, damn.
Rats.
I mean, just shit that they've never even seen or heard of, just wiped out a whole civilization of people. Then we take those people, force them on reservations, tell them that they cannot reside in all this land because we need it for whatever we need it for.
Give them drugs and alcohol and guns.
Teach them about gambling. Give them the fire stick and the fire water. Ruin them. I mean, completely turn their whole, like, if you're talking about, like, you know, people are like, well, what happened to slavery? We're still recovering from, you know, the African Americans are still recovering from what happened during the slavery period. I'm like, all right, sure, cool. I'm here. Like, I understand it's bad, but I'm here. You're here. And there's millions of other African Americans that are here and, you know, in good health, right? They are no Native Americans. I mean they are Native Americans. By no means, don't take it as disrespect. I'm not saying that there are none, but they're few and far between. Like, it's ridiculous.
And the fact that you have to take a blood test or
like the government has all these things that, like, they're now trying to say that will help for what they took part in, but you gotta take a blood test. You gotta get, like, proven that you, like, what tribe that you belong to. That tribe has to be associated and affiliated. It has to be sanctioned. It has to be the government has to say this is in fact a tribe that we would say that we definitely did harm to. Like, there is no, but that's like disregarding the culture are saying that like Native Americans are only condemned to that tribe. Like there are people who are Native American that may not reside in a tribe. Like that doesn't take away that they are original people of this landmass, but now they can't receive any benefits because they don't belong to a tribe or they didn't take a blood test.
It's crazy.
But you know, I'm not
Like most underrepresented.
Yeah. I'm not here trying to be on. I'm just trying to throw shit out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm not good, bad, and different. I'm just throwing that shit out there. You know.
Listen, man, where are we headed with racism and discrimination and hatred, man? Like, where's the world at? Like, between the KKK, right? The two unicorns and a grand wizard. Wait. You still have yet to tell me where the two wizards come from.
Well, the wizards come from obviously the KKK members, and the two unicorns come from
what?
The pointy.
Oh no, not the pointy hats.
The pointy hats.
So you saw two members having a dialogue, and you was like, these dudes look like two unicorns. This is what I'm gonna name the podcast episode.
Yeah, but that and like unicorns are these mythical ass creatures that we never see.
Okay.
And the KKK are some mythical ass individuals now to me that I never see. I don't see them. I don't know where they at. I just know they got pointy ass hats, just like unicorns.
Okay.
And they got some wizards with them. So two unicorns and a grand wizard.
Okay. So between the two unicorns and the grand wizard, you know, like the indigenous people.
The indigenous people. I'm sorry, Native Americans is not a term I just want to use. Yeah,
indigenous people of the landmass that we now
call America.
You know, North America.
You know, I mean, they were in the Americas though. I take that back. They were in what we would consider present day Canada. They were in what we consider present day Mexico. They were all around. So they were in present day Alaska.
Everywhere.
You would call them Eskimos, but I mean, those are indigenous people to those land masses. They've been here.
But like you said, man, it transcends borders, man. Like racism is everywhere.
Yeah.
There's no landmass untouched.
No. I don't think Antarctica. I think Antarctica.
I
don't know, but maybe it could have been though.
Hey,
I don't know where it's going, where racism is going. Well, you know what? I do know where racism is going. So there's a couple things that can happen. One, I think the world is getting browner and browner every day, right?
Every day.
The more open the groups become with interracial dating and mixing and mingling, it's going to get browner and browner and browner, or it'll just become more ambiguous, right? And once the world is ambiguous, which we are headed down that path of ambiguity, and I think we'll just slowly transform into a society of classism. And yeah, who has the most money at that point? That's where we're headed. It'll be years. You know, my kids might not even see it. You know what I'm saying? We're talking like
generations.
We're talking 400 or 500 years from now, probably.
Maybe even more than that. Because you're talking about. All right, let's say America in the next 200 years becomes fully ambiguous. You still have your Latin countries. You know.
Well, that's what I'm saying though. So even when we talk about those, I'm saying like they fall into a
ambiguous.
Like they fall into a culture of brown people that like is not as
what already happened there. You know, like
what?
Like just this mixing and mingling.
Oh yeah. I mean, like we don't want to. You can't call nobody who is Dominican like a black person who speaks Spanish because they'll get offended. But we're not gonna pretend like they're not black people who speak Spanish.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? So like we already there. So I think it's gonna break down in between classism and like pride amongst these fake ass lines. Nationalism. That's what it's gonna be. You know, which is just as bad as racism. You know, just from a different spectrum. You know, if I got them, whoever's got the power. Whoever's got the money, they got the power. And, you know, unless we can somehow change our currency into something else that the less fortunate have more of, then I don't know. Because, I mean, with power and money comes time, because then you have better health and, you know, you can afford to see the right doctors, get the right things, and live longer. So, I mean, you'll be around longer to make more powerful decisions and make changes. So,
for sure. I mean, I agree with you. I think humans revolve around the 3 P's. You know, that's power, pleasure,
and puts.
No,
Oh.
and pattern.
Oh, pattern. Okay.
You know, but I mean, pleasure.
Pleasure. Oh.
I mean, what you said falls under pleasure.
I said I didn't say.
Oh,
anything
okay.
else. I didn't say
Okay.
anything else. Well, you sound real.
Diabolical.
Why'd you start with me?
But yeah, man, I don't think like you said, I don't think it's going nowhere. If so, it'll evolve into under a different name.
Yeah.
Sexism, like
Something.
ageism, classism, like the world again, bro. Racism is everywhere. You got Europe. They got the neo-Nazis, you know. You got Italy.
Going strong.
They against the African farmers in southern Italy,
Right.
you know. You got Spain with the growing racial tension against immigrants of North Africa countries like Morocco.
Mm-hmm.
Look, the list is
The
endless,
list
bro.
is going
like
and going.
Australia, they concerned about Asians becoming swamped in their country, or they're questioning the welfare benefits of the Aborigines, like
Right.
Zimbabwe. You know,
No, that's a whole other group of people right there that just like don't get any shine. The Aborigines in Australia, like people don't even know who those people are, like, or even see, and they definitely have a distinctive like look or about them. Like they're definitely different than the inhabitants that are currently there now. And I think they're just like the Native Americans to me. I don't think they get any burn, any time in the sun. They don't get any, like, no showcase. No one ever says anything about them. It's always some BBC documentary that no one watched, that took place 10 years ago. And, it's never really to like showcase that they have a problem. It's to say, hey, they're here. And we want to let you know they're here. But,
yeah. You got Zimbabwe, where it's kind of like the other way around, right? Like it's increasing racism against white farmers, due to like poverty and lack of land ownership by Africans.
South Africa is doing the same thing.
Listen,
after the apartheid, I watched a documentary, and they got like black people with these mansions, and they got all these white servants, and it's like, this is the damn Twilight Zone. Like, I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. I mean, and once again, like, we're not saying any of this stuff to be like black, white. That's why we try to bring a little bit of everybody into the mix. But I'm saying racism, classism, like that stuff is going to take place, and whoever has the power,
bro,
is going to have the say. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm saying, like, to end what we have going on right now in America, it's going to be more than just it can't be done by the people who are being oppressed, right? Or the people who are being like subjugated against. Or
it can't
be done. It's got to be taken away by the individuals who are conducting the problems, or
people that are benefiting from the self-interest.
And that's what you said earlier, right?
Listen.
So the self-interest, I would say that it's probably going to be, it's more likely than not for those individuals to not want to give up that power. Because if you say, Susie knows that she makes good grades, she can go to school. She gets into Harvard, right? Is Susie then going to give up her seat to Harvard for Sarah, who's a 19-year-old Indian girl from Mumbai? Is she gonna give up that seat because the statistics say there's too many white people at Harvard? I mean, probably not, because she's gonna fight for it, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, they're just things that just take place that they're not, like, the people at power are not going to forfeit, even though they know that it is they know it's wrong, but they just don't want to give it up. And I don't necessarily blame them. I'm saying that it's wrong, and I don't benefit in the same way. But at the same time, if it was me, if the shoe was on the other foot, and this is like that big ass echo that I'm shooting out there to the world, right? That I hope that it doesn't fall on deaf ears to people, non-melanin inclined individuals, right?
Mm-hmm.
If the shoe is ever on the other foot, it's going to be ugly. And I'm not saying in like a dangerous, like harmful way, but people have long memories, right?
So okay, yeah, and you talked about this before
Yeah.
about like your bully
Yeah. So if your bully
metaphor.
is the metaphor is if the bully is beating on you, right?
Mhm.
If the bully just walks away, right, the problem is over, right? The bully walked away. I'll get up. I'll dust myself off. I'll look around, find some more friends, and we can go. We chat about it, and then I'll get over it, right? And we're done. But if ever the bully beats on me, and I swing and I hit him or her, and that individual, that bully falls, I'm not walking away. I'm gonna get on top of the bully, and I'm gonna proceed to beat the brakes off of you. Now, that's saying that if the people at power don't change what's going on, right, they will get into a situation where the pendulum will swing back, and they won't have any legs to stand on, and they're going to be seen as the underdog. And the people that were oppressed will remember how they were getting beat on, and they are going to beat on those individuals twice as hard. Like it's just human nature. That's just who we are as people. Like, if you hurt me, I'm going to try and hurt you more so you can't hurt me again.
Revenge.
And I mean, that's when you're going to get,
Diabolical.
and they start holding you down in little camps, or saying that white people can only be placed in little reservations, and we're going to give you some fire sticks and some fire water. And that's what it's going to be. I'm just saying, like, not in a bad way. I'm just throwing it out there. If they don't stop it, and people of color stop it, it's going to be bad.
And to be honest, I think there was a phase in time where the minorities was like, listen, we got to overthrow, and then that's when you kind of like see conflicts where like MLK, there's like, no, like two wrongs make a bigger wrong type of ordeal, or like you'll make the whole world go blind,
Yeah.
So
An eye for an eye.
Eye for eye makes the whole world go blind. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but you'll be blind first.
You'll be blind first.
You'll be blind first. I'm telling you, I foresee it. I'm foreshadowing the future.
So my question to you is, do you think racism, I mean, we kind of talked about it already, but like, do you think like racism will ever become eradicated specifically? Like when the old people pass away, the true bigots who experience all types of different stuff in life.
I think racism will be eradicated. I think racism will die in time. In a long time, I think racism will die. And it'll be, okay, I'll say this. I don't think it will die completely. I think it will be this underbelly of individuals who will always like push this message, because you have to pass that message to somebody and you have to force them to believe it. So I don't think it will die. It'll have it'll momentarily disappear, but I think it'll come back just like that pendulum. I just think the people that are being oppressed, or the people that are not benefiting from the power, will gain power eventually. They will oppress that group of individuals that were oppressing them. And as history moves forward, we will slowly forget about being the ones that were oppressed. And 600, 700, 800 years from now, however long that is, if we're not, traveling to different, stars and trying to fucking start wars with those individuals, the individuals say like, okay, let's just talk in black and white terms, right? So I'm not like sounding crazy. Right now the pendulum is on this white side, and it'll slowly swing to this dark side. And then when it's on this brown side, the brown side will have the power, and the white people will not. And then they won't speak on it, because it'll be a part of history that we as brown people will choose to not talk about how we took the power back, right? We'll just say how we always had it. We'll promote that in the media. We'll have control of all this stuff that's being said, and then white people will feel oppressed, and then they'll feel let down, and they'll feel that they have been led astray and whatever. And as that happens, the uproar will take place, because black people will say, we don't like white people, or brown people, we don't like white people. And then within that, those white people will grow hatred and will be the ones in this very situation saying the same thing that we're saying now, just in reverse. Just, yeah, fucking those Negroes, those dark people always have all the power. They've always been oppressing us, right? Because they don't have the history, and that's just how it's gonna be. It's gonna be a pendulum until we run into aliens.
That's how your aliens sound.
That's how my alien sound.
Okay, I mean,
What do you think?
I don't know. I don't think so.
You think it's gonna be over?
Like I would like.
I don't think it's over either.
I would like to believe that we could reach it. I personally have a more pessimistic view. I just think because
Diabolical.
yes,
Cynical.
I think the world, like, I think because racism is solely based off of self-interest, that there will never be like eradication of it. Because what you were saying, like, all right, when I think of it, sometimes we tend to personify these things, right? Where we make it, we make the racial groups seem like the selfish group, right?
Right.
We make the anti-racial groups seem like the selfless groups, and really, that's not necessarily the truth. Like, people that are racist aren't necessarily selfish. It's just they're about their self-interest.
Yeah, 100%.
You see what I did there?
I see what you did there.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But
You know who we're talking about.
what?
Okay.
But yeah, man, I do think that I think that protesting is something that helps at a micro level.
Really?
At a micro level,
I
like
think
I think
protest is a waste of time.
I think at a macro level it could be. I think at a micro level, like in history, we have seen where protests have like worked. I don't necessarily think they work all the time, but there's definitely there are definitely
the only time protesting has ever worked
When
is
what?
when
the civil rights movement.
when a white person was a part of it and they got hurt.
That may be true, but if it worked, it worked.
Mm-mm. It didn't hurt. It didn't work. But they had to pause and say, "Hold on. Other people are getting involved that we don't want to be involved."
I mean, when they protested and boycotted, riding the subway. I mean, the metro systems, like they lost so much money that the government officials were still driven by self-interest, but they were like, "Listen, okay, we gotta change this. Get MLK down here." Like that was a protest that worked at a local level.
Are you inclined to believe that I'm not a person that believes right is right, no matter, even if it's done for the wrong reason. Like, I don't believe that. So they protested for the right reason.
Listen,
And-
I'm
they
keeping
changed
it objective. I'm like, listen, I'm associating there was a protest, and then they saw some change. That's what they were trying to do, right? So
they didn't want to lose no money.
Okay, so some change, but like that's not even my point. Okay.
Okay.
You know, I was getting there. Okay.
Get there.
I'm getting there. Now you done threw off my whole groove. But no, I think protest works to an extent. I think for racial policies to become eradicated, protest does nothing, right? Like for a long term problem solving of racial problems, protests do not work.
Right. I don't think so.
I think sometimes at local levels there can, but I think like what you were saying, like I 100% agree with the people that are in power have to fight for you to make a change. And the question is, will they ever decide that, will their self-interest ever change to where that they see that there's a better self-interest for going against racism? Maybe, but if that happens, I think it'll be an uncontrollable factor. Like I think something crazy would have to happen, like that's outside of our power, that would just change the natural balance of power. Like aliens, a major like nuclear outbreak or something, where like that the power that they have established over hundreds of years has been like erased, and now, like you said, people have to like find some new source of power. Like, oh, the people who have,
Yeah. No,
certain
for sure.
blood type or
Yeah, this would be something. They'll flip it. It'll be something else.
There
It'll be
has
something
to be a change of powers completely.
Somehow,
But
yeah.
as long as people who built the system are using it for what they built it for, nah, it's not
Yeah,
gonna change.
it's a system.
It's their system.
Yeah,
That's what it was built for.
That's what, damn right.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Or try to replace it. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? I don't wanna slow us down and tell the poor people at home that's all we got for them today.
Nah, it's about hope though, man.
Yeah.
You got to keep hope. And I think it's the most important is still about realizing that are you a content creator or are you an activist, right?
Right.
That question right there.
Oh, are you informed? Or are you gonna be influenced?
Exactly.
You know, like you gonna know the information, make decisions based off of the information that you have gathered, or you just gonna let somebody tell you what's going on. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna be that sheep, then that's cool. You know what I mean, there's nothing wrong with being a sheep, okay? But sheep often get eaten. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah. So it's the Shut Up and Color podcast. I'm Ashton Alexander.
I'm Micah J.
You can find us on social media at Ashton.Alexander, Micah.J with an E on Instagram.
Yes, sir.
You can follow us on the social media platforms, Instagram for Shut Up and Color as well, Shut Up and Color _. And we streaming live, on Spotify. So go ahead and do that. Go ahead and get us a follow.
Go check us out.
Check us out. This is episode 3. 3 of the Shut Up and Color podcast. You know what I'm saying?
2 unicorns and a grand wizard.
2 unicorns and a grand wizard. It's the Shut Up and Color podcast. Always informed.
Never influence.
That's it. That's the show. And we out. We out.